It was a stormy night when Ella discovered the locket. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows of the old, creaking house. Her grandmother's house, nestled deep in the countryside, had always felt like a place untouched by time. Ella loved visiting, despite the mystery that surrounded it. She had come to stay for a few days after the death of her grandmother, hoping to find some solace in the place where so many of her childhood memories had been made. Ella never knew much about her grandmother's past, but her instincts told her there was more to the woman than she had ever shared. As she sifted through the attic, filled with dusty old books, antiques, and faded photographs, a small, ornate locket caught her eye. It was tucked away in a velvet-lined box, hidden beneath a stack of yellowed letters. The locket was strange, intricately designed with swirling patterns of silver, its surface gleaming despite the years of neglect. Something about it felt different, as if it held a secret. Curiosity piqued. Ella opened the locket. Inside, there was a tiny, faded photograph of a woman, barely recognizable. Her face was soft, yet etched with sadness. Ella no reconoció a la mujer, pero en la parte posterior de la foto había una sola palabra escrita en delicado script: Eleanor. Eleanor. The name sent a chill down Ella's spine. It sounded so familiar, yet she couldn't place where she had heard it before. She turned the locket over, and to her surprise, there was an inscription. It read, "To the one who controls the clock, the past is never lost." Ella's heart raced. Was this a clue? She sat down on the dusty floor, holding the locket tightly in her hand. The phrase seemed to hold more meaning than she could comprehend. Who was Eleanor, and why had her grandmother kept this locket hidden all these years? The storm raged outside as Ella's mind spun with questions. She decided to investigate further, determined to uncover the truth. She pulled out the old letters from the box, and as she read through them, one particular letter caught her attention. It was written in the same delicate handwriting as the inscription in the locket. The letter was dated decades ago, from a time when Ella's grandmother was still a young woman. It read, "Dearest Eleanor, time has a way of slipping through our fingers like sand in the wind, but I have found a way to hold on to it, just for a moment longer. The locket will allow you to see the past, to relive the memories we once shared. But be warned, time is not to be trifled with. If you're not careful, it will consume you." Ella's breath caught in her throat. The letter spoke of the locket, of time, and of someone named Eleanor. But what did it all mean? How could the locket allow someone to see the past? Ella felt a strange pull to the object, as if it was calling her, urging her to understand. Determined to uncover the mystery, she pressed the locket against her chest, closing her eyes. In that moment, everything around her seemed to fade away. The sounds of the storm, the creaking of the house, everything vanished. Suddenly, she was standing in a different place. The room around her was unfamiliar, but the feeling was unmistakable. She was in her grandmother's house, but it was different, cleaner, newer, and full of life. And there, in the corner of the room, was the woman from the photograph. "Eleanor," Ella whispered, her voice trembling. The woman turned, her eyes wide with surprise. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice soft yet filled with urgency. Before Ella could respond, the world around her began to blur. Time seemed to twist and distort, the edges of reality warping like a dream. She tried to hold on, but the pull was too strong. The locket glowed with an intense light, and with a sudden jolt, Ella was pulled back into the attic. She gasped for breath, heart pounding in her chest. The storm had passed, and the room was once again still. The locket in her hand was now cold, as if it had never been touched. Ella's mind raced as she tried to make sense of what had just happened. She couldn't explain what she had seen, but one thing was certain. The locket was not just a piece of jewelry. It was a key to something far deeper, something hidden in the past. And as Ella looked down at the locket, she knew that her journey had only just begun.